and welcome to Kogi in Focus, the weekly review that keeps you abreast of happenings in and around Kogi State. In today's edition, it is called Kogi in Focus Special Edition because we will allow you to watch and listen to two professors that visited Kogi State to enlighten the government, executives, and the people during the two-day enlightenment program on what COVID-19 is and how to handle it. We will be right back after this break. I am Khadijat Mohammed. Welcome back. Observers of developments of the COVID-19 pandemic are still at loss as to why Kogi State in north-central Nigeria is yet to record a single positive case of the dreaded virus. Such was the curiosity that the Nigeria Center for Disease Control sent a team to Kogi State to either confirm whether the state's claim is true or to find out how the state has been able to remain COVID-19 free. Unfortunately, the NCDC's assignment to Kogi was aborted as the team members refused to submit themselves for isolation, which is one of the key COVID-19 prevention requirements. On the heels of the botched NCDC assignment, the Kogi State government organized a two-day enlightenment seminar on the 14th and 17th of May, where a wide variety of healthcare and security stakeholders, members of the academia, leaders of thought, and top government officials came together. Governor YAHAYA BELLO was on hand to tell the Kogi State government COVID-19 story and how it has been able to keep the state coronavirus free. He also highlighted his administration's plans to keep the virus out of the state. Other participants also made very critical contributions, including some university dons who warned the COVID-19 management authorities against instilling fear inside Nigerians. It was indeed 2 days to remember.
I don't believe that there is any of my colleague governor that is ready to subject the life of his people to danger on the altar of financial gain. I don't think so. We are simply trying to solve the health challenges of our people. Let me equally put it on record. Mr. President, President Muhammad Buhari, so loving, so compassionate, has given it all his best. He has sacrificed all of his to ensure that this country remain together, secure, healthy, and prosperous. As a president, when you are confronted with a situation as it were when the pandemic was said to have crossed over to Nigeria, probably you may not take a different decision. All you will do is, wherever solutions are, you will seek for it to ensure that the life of your people are safe. So it is incumbent on me, as a governor, to now bring those that know more than me and you, who are professionals, who are more enlightened. In fact, they are professors in that field, to come and give us more insight into what this coronavirus is all about and how we go about it. So that it will be that I'm leading my people blindly or I'm leading my people astray.
At the onset of that publication by World Health Organization to declare a pandemic, I asked several questions. My first question is a virus? Fine. What is a virus? And World Health Organization were fast enough to say it's a living organism. I said, wow. Such a body that has been endowed with such serious responsibility to take care of World Health could classify a virus as a living thing. I said, it's disappointing. And it's embarrassing that World Health Organization could classify a virus as a living thing. Viruses are non-living things. And they are made by man to achieve specific purposes. And that is why they come in unique form. And they remain with people and go. Because you will talk and talk about them until you forget about them. That was my first challenge to World Health Organization. Define what a virus is, and they could not. Up to now, they have not been able. But if you look at scientific publications from then till now, it's teaching towards the fact that virus remains man-made, which makes it artificial. It's not natural. So why do man make virus? Man make virus to achieve specific purposes, like I mentioned before. And I'm going to give quickly some examples. In 1950, America was fighting war with Korean army. And at a point, they discovered that Korean army were getting close to them and getting on their army. And what they did was to go back to their lab and said, produce for me a virus. And Hanka, a virus, was produced. And what was that to achieve? They inflicted it on Korean soldiers. That thing carried a specific purpose, and the purpose was that if it gets in contact with human, it irritates your skin. So you'll be scratching your skin. So just imagine if an army officer is scratching his skin and he's in the battlefield and his skin is irritating him and he's scratching it. Will he perform his duty as a soldier? No, because he cannot pull the trigger. And that was how American army overran Korean army. And they won that war. And it was completed. That's virus. I know there are farmers in Kogi State, because my mother is from Kogi State, and I know she used to be a very good backyard farmer. But there are cocoa farmers, and cocoa farmers will always demand for some chemicals. I will name two. Gamma 20 is very common with them, and Address 40 is common with them. Those are virus. They are virus because they enter into a living thing and will kill and damage the living thing. So when World Organization was arguing that yes, at a point they had to shift ground, that virus are not completely living thing, but outside the body they are non-living, and when they enter the body, they acquire cells and genes from the body and become a living thing. I said, that is the worst science I have ever heard of. Scientific basis I have ever heard of in life. And I drew an attention. I said, let me ask them a question. If you say a non-living thing outside can enter the body and acquire gene and cells and become a living thing, I remember that every Christmas I used to slaughter the chicken in my house. And there is something inside we call the gizzard. If you open the gizzard, there are stones inside. My question to World Health Organization was that, why will stones remain in the gizzard of a fowl? And it's a non-living thing. And we never acquire gene and cells from that same fowl and become a fowl and jump out. That question still remains to be answered, which shows that non-living things remains as non-living things, and living things will always remain as living things until the last characteristics of living thing that they must express, which is death. And when they die, they return back to earth. Is it not? Then two, looking at coronavirus, why should people be scared of it? I asked the question, why must I be scared as a scientist of coronavirus? Even outside being a scientist, why should you be scared when coronavirus has a patent right? I want to believe that all of us here know what a patent right is. Yeah. America issued Wuhan lab patent right to study and produce coronavirus, and they spent billions of dollars funding that lab. So, if it is paid for, you are paying people to study and produce, then why are you calling it a natural thing? Those scientists you are using there and you are paying, are they God? That they have to create living things? No, they're not. They are working for you. And you have an interest behind your mind, and that is why you are funding it. And that is virus. So Wuhan lab has the patent right to study virus. They produce. And I gave an example. I said, Professor Elizabeth is of America. And she is a professor that specializes in studies of virus and exposition of virus. She was working one day, 2009, and mistakenly, the same thing she is producing infected her, and she died of it. And what was that virus? That virus was built by a mercury base. A chip of mercury can destroy me that we are seeing now in few days. Because if you check the effect of mercury, and that is why they have been talking about artificial intelligence, so that they thought that thing will get here. In case it gets here and it brings down memory, artificial intelligence will account for it. I'm a genetist, and as a genetist, I diversify into studies. So I took, after the announcement of coronavirus, I took a format of Yahoo boys, what they use to get money and how to convince people. And I discovered that coronavirus, classified as COVID-19, COVID-19 is a Yahoo format. Just came to deceive people. While people are making money in trillions and billions of dollars, you and I, we are inside the house. And being inside the house, you are idle. You are not active. And while you are not active, your immune system is going down. And they are telling us that they will bring a vaccine for us, that vaccine will improve the immune system. Stories. So when Fauci and Bhutan and all of them goes to China, they go to Wuhan lab, they don't go to anywhere. When I'm talking, I know who I am. As an African, I am intelligent. And in this world, there is nobody who has the monopoly of knowledge. But all birds fly, but some fly higher than others. By bringing out symptoms from a disease or a virus that you don't know, and you are telling us how it has affected somebody. What? Science is not magic. Science is practical. So, World Health Organization, before that announcement, knew quite well and has seen somebody that thing has affected. And that is why they had symptoms. But on the contrary, they never saw any person.
We were told he has so many symptoms, just like what he has presented, that there will be mucus secretion that will block the word pathway. If it's going to be, for instance, you are even affected, the mask now you are wearing, you're supposed to need more of oxygen to combat that. And then automatically you are still reducing the word oxygen. Is that not? Are you doing good or harming yourself? But let me say this, Africans or Nigerians, you are fooling yourself. Oh. You see people wearing masks and they are single person on the way. That is not how to use the mask, for God's sake. No. You use the mask when you suspect people or when you are in midst of what? People. You are alone. You are wearing what? Mask. For what? Mentality. You are in your house. You are wearing what? Mask. People go back to the etiology of what they have told you about it. That it could be transmitted. No problem. Can you transmit it to yourself that you are wearing mask when you are alone? I leave that for you to answer. And two, if it stays in the throat, based on the revelation that the temperature, like what my colleague has said, it will work between temperature 28 to 30 degrees. So naturally we are immune to it.
Let's look at symptoms of COVID-19 pandemic as given by World Health Organization. We are told that when you are affected by that virus, there is possibility that you will have fever, you will have dry cough, there is tiredness, there is aches and pains, there is nasal congestion, there is sore throat, there is diarrhea. That is according to World Health Organization. If you look at those symptoms, you will discover that those symptoms are not just symptoms you get yourself worried about, because man has been living with those symptoms every day. That is to say, it is not new. No wonder we have been told the day before yesterday, while I was looking at some publication, that World Health Organization has given us a hope. And that hope is that we should be prepared to live with it, because there is no possibility that it will go. It won't go. So what will not go, those symptoms will not go. But COVID-19 does not exist. So those are the symptoms. That is COVID-19 on one side. And as a virus that we were told is outside the body is a non-living thing, inside the body is a living thing. I, as a genetist, what I have done is this, to follow up the recommendations they have given and whatever description they have given. So I went into research. In my discovery, I find out Mercury 1 is never a living thing. It's a non-living thing. Oh, you get it, good. When it's outside the body, it does not have effect. When Mercury is on a natural state, it is very, very docile. It's there. If you drop Mercury here now, and where you can easily get it, for those of you who use thermometer to read people's temperature, when that thing breaks, I want to advise, what you are seeing inside that is shiny is Mercury. When you get yourself infected with it, it will be the same story of F. Kennedy and Professor Elizabeth of America, who was trained in viral studies. She did, every research about her is virus. She studied, she produced, she exposes. But in 2009, the same thing that she studied every day and she works with infected her and killed her. And the same symptom she exhibited before she died were the same symptom of COVID-19. I will push it somewhere. Good. That is Mercury. When Mercury affects the skin, if it manages to enter the body, it is mild. So you may not exhibit symptoms. Let's be following up the mechanism of COVID-19. If it goes through the skin, why it does not have strong effect is that under your skin, there's a dead layer they call the subcutaneous layer. It will fight the entrance because the gene will recognize it that a foreign body wants to enter. So they will fight. And the few ones that will enter the body is able to accommodate it. And that is why they can tell you that COVID-19 can affect you with or without intervention. You can be free. And that is why you can go to isolation center, stay for some days, they didn't give you any drugs, and you are free. I had that at the back of my mind. I said, okay, for the fact that I am a researcher, and let me quickly attend to that issue of a researcher. Why did we not get anywhere, and why Kogi State and Cross River State, am I right? Yes, sir. Is getting it right? Is that I was listening to a scientist this morning on the television, and he was giving straight basic questions. If you are a researcher, My Excellency, and you know the result that you are going to get before you enter into a research, then whatever you have used to do that research is no more the research material. You that is doing the research now becomes the research material, and the materials you are using now becomes the researcher. And that is why they will not have any answer to COVID-19. They will continue to remain in darkness until it will go. Go in the sense that when we forget about it. I did something. I said, let me find out, how did they just arrive at a picture to explain COVID-19? Something you don't know. Up till now, even American scientists and all of them, Buta has called me severally. I have talked with Fauci. If they are still inside the lab looking for what COVID-19 is, and people are dying of COVID-19, my question is, how long will they remain in the lab? Will the people finish before they will come out? I don't understand. So I questioned Google. I said, Google, show me a picture of mercury as a virus. And that picture came up. So if you have your phone, you can enter it. Mercury as a virus. You will see the picture of COVID-19. And if you go further to quiz those pictures, you will discover that they were designed far back 2016, 2017. They already had a picture to describe it, which shows that they knew what they were doing. So that is mercury, and we have seen chlamydia pneumonia. But I want everybody, when you now go back home, look at chlamydia pneumonia and look at the kind of persons it will affect. And coronavirus is not new. If you check the history of coronavirus, what impresses me there is that coronavirus has a patent right. Patent right means certain persons or organizations were given the right to study and produce it. So it's man-made. It's not contesting it. It's man-made because they paid. And that lab is still working. But how do they get it? I remember we were told that it came from bats and some seafood. Very correct. Extremely correct. Because mercury comes from, before mercury could get to man, it must pass through a hose. And that is bat. And how does it get to bat? When coal industry, any industry that burns coal, like railway industry, like agri-chemical industries, and rubber factories, when they burn their products, then they excite the mercury components, small, in those products, and it enters the atmosphere, and it moves. When it's moving, because it is heavy metal, it has a weight, it drops. As it's going, it's dropping. But Africa is so blessed enough because we have a wide land space filled with different kinds of plants and different kinds of trees that are so tall and with different sizes of leaves. When some of them falls on top of those leaves, they trap it. When the leaves are undergoing photosynthesis, some of them are destroyed. That's an advantage to Africa in terms of mercury transfer. Good. Then, the ones that will drop on the soil, when rain comes, the surface of the soil is washed and is washed into the sea. And the organisms or animals inside the sea, either by drinking water or pecking some of those soil samples, takes it. But remember that the tall trees has fruits. If you visit any tree where bat sleeps in the night, you will understand that around the floor, under that tree, you can identify different kinds of seeds from different fruits that they consume. While they are consuming those fruits, they take in those mercury substances. But because their DNA and RNA are stronger than that of man, it does not affect them. So that is why they become a host. They just stay there and waiting for opportunity to get the kind of cell that they could attack. So when you and I now hunt for bats, and you catch the bat, and you cook it, you eat it, you can unknowingly take in mercury. And that was why we were told that bat is the cause of mercury. But I have said that bat cells does not have the mechanism of producing mercury. But they themselves are infected. The bats are infected. The crabs are infected. The fishes in the sea are infected. So when we consume them, then the chain continues. In we, as humans, our cells are weaker to their resistance or to their mode of action. Then they can destroy the cells of human beings. And as they are destroying it, their health conditions arises. That is the mechanism of viral infection. Then those symptoms that we saw, there is nothing there to be scared about. So if you are saying from outside, you want to give me what will improve my immunity in order to fight against COVID-19, and you send me back inside, and I'm inside, and while inside, I eat and sleep, nothing else, then my immune system is breaking down. Even if COVID-19 does not get to me, other things will get to me because I have mosquito inside my house. Mosquito can beat me and introduce in me protozoa, malaria protozoa. But because my immune system is low, malaria protozoa will send me to the grave. Hope you know that malaria can kill. Headache can kill. Good. So we are looking at virus and vaccines. So for the vaccines to come for COVID-19, the vaccines were even already there before the announcement of COVID-19. Or else, they wouldn't have been pressuring people that everybody must take the vaccine. Everybody in the world must take the vaccine. It's not safe. I'm saying it is not safe. So when people give you recommendations, look at the people who are giving you recommendations and see behind them whether there is other motives why those recommendations are given. I would prefer to die than to take vaccine I don't understand the context. Yes, because it's better to die yourself than to allow a man like you to kill you.
So we have managed it differently. Kogi State has done very well. Your Excellency, you are a good man. You've done very well. And we stand by you to do the right thing and make sure that, and we pray for you, that the state stays free.
So to a lot of extent, this fear being installed in us is far, far greater, if at all there is anything like COVID. And that is why I'm particularly delighted to be here today.
What did we do to keep Kogi safe up to today? That should be my own focus.
Concept or one of the products to come and the alignment to what we have been talking about, and that is 5G network. I have not, because I'm somebody who is close to internet use, and I'm somebody who is close to a lot of gadgets in terms of computers. I am not condemning 5G network. 5G network comes, when it comes, it's going to do a lot of things. But if you see the side effects of COVID-19 outside and COVID-19 inside, you will discover that the side effects are components that 5G will come to remedy. Are we together? Are we following me? Yes. There is a pandemic and there is a virus. The effect of that virus on human being is what 5G network will come to solve. I will give the mathematics very quickly. The first thing that 5G network, as we have been told, will come to provide is artificial intelligence. If you watch the effect of mercury on persons, it reduces memory. It reduces smartness. And that is why they have to send for a while, let all children remain at home, all students, whether university, primary school, so that in case it affects people, so that it will bring up that reduced memory that the effect of COVID-19 will have on human beings. Are we getting it together? Good. Then there is another one, transcranial magnetic stimulation. What that one does is to beam rays on the brain, and it will synthesize the brain and stimulate it to act sharp, so that when you are connected to that network, they could be able to control you so that your hands will not go to the eyes every time. There are a lot of publications, and they describe it. Movement of hands to the eyes, movement of hands to the nose. So with that network and everybody connected, they could be able to control so that there will be stimulation of thinking. That is TMS and other ones, but there is something that I must warn everybody against. Nobody should say, I said it is totally bad. No. Radiations from network cannot cause immediate death, like what they are picturing to us that COVID-19 is killing people. But radiation takes enough time based on, number one, the half-life of the radiation component, and two, the accumulation of that radiation component inside the body. And I gave a quick example with Hiroshima. 25 years after Hiroshima, because of the kind of bombs that were used, there were radiations and there were a lot of genetic mutation. So with accumulation, and that is why I must warn, if we must use it, they should not mount any of these, what do they call it, the mask, close to any house. Because if you bring it close to the house, there is possibility that proximity to it will lead to acquiring those components. And the question whether COVID-19 as an entity exists or not
I still remain on my stand that COVID-19 as an entity that has defied all scientific basics remains a scam. And there is no need for any person to panic. There is no need for unnecessary anxiety, because those ones even kill more. Now they have introduced another virus, and that is hunger virus. Hunger virus is even more terrible. It's more terrible. Why it is terrible is that hunger virus separates the rich from the poor. Because the rich could take care of themselves. They can stock their store. But where will the poor stock their store? So I want to conclude by saying, My Excellency, sir, I must thank you for this opportunity given to me as a single Nigerian who has taken it up with my friend to come to join you in that struggle to differentiate truth from false. Because we know that all religious books, like I've said before, is the only thing that can set us free. He's on the path of truth. I am on the path of truth. COVID-19 is a scam. COVID-19 is an advert that went wrong for 5G network. Kogi is safe. I am safe. Nigeria is safe, and the world is safe. And I am always ready for your invitation at any time, because we must prepare, because another virus will come. But we will wait. When that virus comes, I as a geneticist, I will diagnose it.
We know the stand His Excellency have taken so far since the inception of the pandemic. And he said, as I quote, I made sure that I first of all educate myself about what COVID-19 is all about, so that I can lead my people in the right direction.
So the coming of the two professors is to come and add to the little we know and get us enlightened. It is not in any way telling you not to go your normal lives, not to continue to take what you will take to improve your lives and your health. Be it drugs, be it vaccine, or for whatever. Don't take what will affect your health, but take all that will improve your health. I thank our doctors. Let me urge you once again. Please don't keep a patient to die. Treat them. Have faith in God. Protect yourselves, but attend to patients. Don't allow them to die. They are human beings.
This is where we wrap it up on today's special edition of Kogi in Focus. Join me for more on this very week's package next week. Keep doing to others what you want them to do to you, and continue to observe personal hygiene to avoid contracting any diseases. Goodbye.